The thing about these sessions and all of these sessions, there's so much information in all of them that we're going to be giving you over the next couple of days. I can see lots of you with notepads and writing notes, which is great. The important thing is to distill those notes at some point later this week into 3 actionable items that you can maybe get done, I don't know, by the end of September. Give yourself plenty of time, because if you try and do everything, you'll end up doing nothing. So just try and distill that down into 3 separate actionable items. Good. Next up, and joining me on stage to talk about, what have we got talking about? Content marketing. We've got Samantha Cerrone, Linda Stringer, Kirsty Hodgson, and Tony Ruby. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hope there's no nerves in the group. Content marketing. I think we've gone a slide too far, haven't we? Content marketing. What is content marketing to you? Linda, we'll start.
Didn't want you to come to me first.
Sorry, you putting your head down, weren't you? That's why I came to.
So content marketing for me is, well, it's all content, isn't it? So it's all about getting different things out there, not being just boring, putting one thing out there. It's about having variety. So it might be properties, it might be selling tips, it might be a rant, it might be all sorts of different things.
Rants?
I do a rant. Yeah.
Come on to them later. Sam?
Are we on? Oh, yeah. Content marketing to me is a way to show who I am through a estate agency and how I do estate agency, sort of documenting how I sell a house, but also what happens behind the scenes, because let's face it, everybody's nosy and they like to know as much information as possible, whether that's about estate agency or my personal life as well.
So what sort of stuff behind the scenes are you showing?
Anything from me dropping off my kids at school, to me spilling a cup of tea on my desk, to me meeting a vendor, a board going up. God, I could go on forever. An anniversary of my husband, my team. Just me as a normal person, because I think people more prefer honest people, should we say? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can't get my words out properly there.
No.
It will come the more I get comfortable on the sofa.
Yeah, makes sense. Tony, what sort of content marketing are you up to?
I think it varies really. Most of mine's been based around the community that I live in. I think that's the most important thing. It provides a living for us and the family. So I think it's right that I support that in the reverse way. And therefore I tend to go with the intention of giving rather than receiving. But the byproduct is there's receiving there. People take on board what you're doing, and I think they sort of show a bit of a respect for you for promoting the local area or the businesses within that local area, even though they're not your business. You're not talking about your own business. And bizarrely, people want to then speak to you because I think they sort of show a bit of respect for that as well. But the content for me, a bit like Sam said, it varies from everything really. You know, it could be the anniversary of our wedding, for example. It could be my little girl's 11th birthday. It could be a major milestone, like the 3-year anniversary we recently had with eXp. I think content's a wonderful thing because what it actually becomes is a great filter. It gets rid of the people that don't get you. They don't sort of engage you in the first place. And what you invariably end up with then is the people who sort of gravitate towards you, want to speak with you a bit more. I think the other aspect of content is if you are sharing real life stuff rather than all salesy pitches, which I think that's the problem with a lot of agents. Let's face it, a lot of agents will go down the route of it's a sales pitch. Look how big my willy is, sort of thing, isn't it? We're open 27 hours a day.
Let's not do that today.
It's that sort of thing, isn't it? It's always that intention. And actually, I think good content often is about a story, and what the job of the agent is to be is not the lead role in that story. It's to be part of that story and part of a facilitator in that story.
So I was at a session, just Tony reminds me, I was at a session in America, and you've got to go to America to find these sessions, but there was a session very similar to this, content marketing, 4 people on the panel, and this guy was on the panel, and he said, yeah, I just talk about right-wing politics and cats. And I thought, God, that's risky. You know, talking about any sort of politics, whether it's right or left or somewhere in the middle, is risky. But he did, and he said, and I attract people who are like me, who like right-wing politics and cats. And he said, and I love it. I love my job because I speak to people who are in my network and believe in the same things that I believe. And he was absolutely insistent on it. I'm not recommending you go and talk about right-wing politics, by the way. But it's just, your tribe, isn't it? Finding your tribe, and you just lose those people who aren't interested.
100%. And I think you end up then, like I said, attracting those people who get you. You don't end up attracting the people who don't get you. And therefore, life becomes a lot easier because you tend to deal with people who are more in your sort of little circle and sphere. And I think for me, it's also a great way for people to get to know you, like you, and trust you a little bit. And I think if you can hit one of those three things, you've probably got half a chance, and you become known around your local vicinity. And let's face it, if people are thinking about selling a home, if they've been in their home for 20 years, they're probably actually only thinking about which agent they're going to have out for 2 days in that 20 years. So you need to be in their mind at that 2 days, somehow. And I think content, like I said, doesn't have to be just all on social. I mean, you can do this through WhatsApp groups. You can do it through so many different ways. You can, there's all different ways. I love the stuff that I was hearing this morning from Lee, wasn't it? Lee this morning. We have a WhatsApp group for every valuation we've been to where WhatsApp is there. Some of the stuff that we do content-wise is about the local property market in our area. It's in the written word. It's an article which is fantastic. It's not written by me. It's ghost-written, but by Chris Watkin. But it gives me an article every week to send these post valuations that I've not won yet, I've not been out to, or if I've lost them. It's just something different that other agents won't be doing. And it's very real as well, and it's very relevant. It's not UK-wide headlines that we're talking about. It's very relevant Grantham headlines.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris Watkin charges for that, by the way, so you'll be on commission for that, won't you, Tony?
If I touch on sort of what Lee mentioned earlier, he sort of said, how do you keep into contact with clients? We have a WhatsApp group, and if you don't do it, please do it with all your vendors. They feel really special. It gives them chance to interact with you on a personal level and on a friendship basis. But I have a personal Facebook and Instagram of my own, but then I have my business one. And on my business one, I will follow clients, and a lot of the time they'll have pages of what they're doing with their own houses. They'll fill up the WhatsApp group 3-4 months after they purchase from us of, look what we've done, look how we've knocked this wall down, look how we've opened up this kitchen. But then, believe it or not, you've now got content. So then you put that then onto your social media for your clients to be able to see that now you're not just a client that's bringing them in money, you've become a friend with them. And then before you know it, that's where the recommendations start coming in without actually doing posts all over social media like, do you want a valuation? They should come to you naturally through content and through your friendships with your clients.
Yeah. Kirsty, haven't heard from you yet.
Yeah, I think content marketing, what is most important is getting your personality across and your face. It's being relevant to people. So it's, who they're going to think of when they're wanting to find an estate agent. You want it to be you, but you want to show, one, you're a normal person, you're likeable and you're trustworthy, but also you know what you're talking about. So your content's got to be a good mix of what the guys have talked about, like your personal life, you've got kids, your pets, that you are a normal family person and they want to support you. But then on the flip side, you need to show that you're professional and you know what you're talking about. So having that good mix of content of, being a professional and talking about the industry and the property market and what's happening at the moment, that's what people want to know about from you. They always go, well, what's happening with the property market? Is it busy? Is it quiet? So I think talking about that thing and having a good mix of personal just really works. It's getting your personality across, but showing that you know what you're talking about as well.
So when you did that video, well, tell us, the video I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Tell us about that, because that was personal and professional kind of in a way, wasn't it?
Well, to me, it's about getting people talking and, you don't want any negative reviews or anything like that, but it is about the amount of people talking about you, the more relevant you're going to be in your area. And this video really got people talking. It really riled people. So when I started, I didn't have a huge amount of properties on the market. And to be honest, there was a property on the market with another agent that I actually really believed was a good buy. It was really cheap, and I kept thinking, why is this house not selling? It's been on for 6 months. I can't understand it. So I stood out on the path outside the front of the house that was on with the other agent, and I went, this is a really good buy. It's a fantastic price. It's a 6% yield. It would be an ideal buy to let. If you want to buy it, get yourselves along to Gilmore Estates and book yourself a viewing, because I think it's a really good buy. Well, obviously, that agent hit the roof. It was like, literally, what is Kirsty doing? But people were literally stopping me in the street the next day going, what was that video about? Are you working for Gilmore's now? And I was like, well, no, I'm just being a helpful agent because I really think it's a good buy. So it really got people talking. And then I knew one of the staff that worked there, so I know this happened. And several people called up that agent afterwards and went, I really like Kirsty's video. Can you get her to come and do one for me? so obviously that agent was like, Kirsty does not work for me. No. So they obviously went, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll withdraw from you and go on Kirsty then. So I got loads of listings. But even better than that, the guy who ended up buying it because of my video, he bought it, he flipped it, he did it up, he came to me, he didn't even ask for another agent's opinion because it was me, he bought the video, you know, he watched the video. So I put it on the market. It'd been on, like, I think about 9 months previously. I sold it within 4 days and made him 30 grand profit, and he was over the moon, all because of that one sort of risky video that was, you know, quite ballsy, but it paid off. So I did it for every agent in the town because I didn't want the other agents to feel left out.
Very good. Very good. Did you actually do that for all the agents?
Yeah, I didn't want them to feel left out.
Do you
Didn't
still
want
do
to
that
feel
now?
like,
Do you get customers asking you for that?
do you know,
sort
I
of video?
really would. Keep thinking I might do that again, just for the crack,
Just for
really,
kicks.
just for the sake of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah, good. Content marketing. You got Kevin Keegan on video last year.
Yeah,
didn't you?
Kevin Keane worked with me. That was a good content. Yeah, when
Yeah.
I put that on, that went pretty viral. He was going, yeah, Kirsty's the best agent in the northeast. So yeah.
I'm not sure we'll get Steve Bartlett doing that, by the way. But Linda, what's been your most successful piece of content?
Most successful was actually, it was going back to the rant, I think. So I went and did I know that sometimes people can't turn up for viewings, and I get it, but like, you've had an email, you've had a text that morning, you might have even had a phone call that morning. I've travelled half an hour, my vendor's got the house ready, and then you don't turn up. What? So I did a full bore rant on that particular house that got loads of people talking. Some were a bit negative, but other people were like, go on, girl, you tell them. But it actually got everybody else talking about it. So it was a bit of a risky thing, but I was really pissed off. So just wanted to tell people, don't do that. It's really rude.
They get good. Those rants do get good engagement, don't they? Yeah, absolutely. Sam, what about yours? Because one of the things I remember, one of your very first videos was just a very simple intro, wasn't it? But I mean, that kind of, tell us about that and the number of views you got. And I mean, it's just a really simple video, isn't it? It's a really good way to start your business if you're new to eXp.
We were literally talking out the back, wasn't we? Us three all went live on the 1st of July, so 4 years yesterday for all us three. So no one in our area was doing videos, and obviously joining eXp, Adam was like, get behind the camera. My social media guy was, and I was really conscious at the time. I had braces, and I was like, I've just got to be ballsy. I've got to do it. And I kid you not, I sat in like this dressing room stroke half office, and I think it took me about 4 hours. And I think if you went through my camera thing, there must have been about 300 shots. And I think it was like a 1 minute video, and it was just literally introducing myself. I was the first agent in my area to go self-employed. So I think that's something to shout out about and be really proud of. And it was just like, hi, I'm Samantha Cerrone. I'm setting up my own business by myself, selling houses that I've done at the time for 15 years, which I absolutely love. Looking forward to showing everybody that not all estate agents are dickheads, because they're not. And I'm a normal person, and I love what I do. And oh my God, it blew up. It really did. It was quite overwhelming. I think literally overnight there was 1,500 followers. Yeah. And then I think it was the time of COVID, don't get me wrong, where everyone really wants to support one another, which I think's continued on 4 years on. But all of a sudden it was, right, you've got to use Sam. And I was very lucky that I didn't have to do prospect letters and knocking on doors, which I was prepared to do. I went out canvassing, but they were flooding in. And all of a sudden our conversation that I had with Adam, which was, I just need to sell 3, maybe 4 a month, and I'm going to earn a good living, all of a sudden went to 10, 15, 20 or so.
And how many of you, I mean, we talked about prospecting in the last session, how many of you have sent a letter? Have any of you sent a single letter?
I used my first or second weekend, and I think I printed off about 20.
Yeah, I think I did it a couple of times in the first 3 months. I sent out maybe 200, 300, and got my first few listings.
But it just goes to show you can build a business in any way you want, prospecting through letters like the guys did, door knocking, or this content marketing. Tony, I'm always intrigued by your content. It's very Grantham focused, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you are like a celebrity in Grantham now, aren't you?
So going back, obviously, actually my 3 year start, my 4th year started yesterday with eXp, so I've done my 3 years now. But before that, I was at Newton Fallowell for thick under 9 years. And in about 2015, I started doing content in video form for advertising properties, but not actually to advertise properties, but to actually advertise the brand, so I could get out some more valuations to secure more listings and make the branch more successful. But it soon became clear that people then almost cut out the middleman and got in touch with me direct to value their house. They didn't sort of go to the office and ask for Tony to come out. It was messaging me on my Facebook pages and everything else. And I think what that demonstrates is that if you can sort of get the content out there in the way, be really genuine about what you're putting out there, you have to be relentless with it and really persistent with it though. Eventually people will start putting the dots together and will reach out to you at that time. So I was very lucky that I got to build, if you like, a brand whilst I was still employed and being paid by it. And that was never the intention. That just happened to be the byproduct of it all. But I think as we went in towards this, again, it became very clear to me post-COVID that people, again, were disregarding the office. They weren't bothering me in the office. They were just getting in touch with me. And I was putting these houses on the market and thinking, why am I doing this for somebody else? And all the pennies dropped into place. And we've extended that a little bit further as well, because during COVID, I think Sam's right. Everybody wanted to be really supportive of the people, especially local small businesses who were feeling the pinch. So we started doing the Great and Good of Grantham during lockdown, which was, again, local businesses talking about their own business and how they were coping with COVID and what. It was all on Zoom. Looking back, they were too long. It wasn't great, but it was done with a good intention, and I think people were very respectful of that. And I think the people who then you've also helped out by lifting the bonnet on their business and sort of telling people about these businesses, all of a sudden become your biggest fans, and they start. Your network expands even further, and the next thing you know, you've got a valuation opportunity because you did this video for somebody who you spent 5 minutes on a Zoom call with. So I think the content's weird. And then we've done stuff again post-COVID when we could go out again. We started going out and doing sort of almost like a 90-second, 2-minute long Facebook Live for a new business that might be opening, for example, meeting the owner, showing people where it is located on Grantham High Street, for example, and what they offer and what time they're open, and what is it they love about Grantham, for example. But that's then gone on further from there, because then people have got in touch and said, oh yeah, I'm doing this charity event, could you raise the profile of it for me? Can you, so you get then invited to do these things, again, by being relentless with these things in the first place and twisting a few arms to do a few. All of a sudden people then want you to help them. There's been a couple of charities get in touch about events. There was one, the one that sticks in my mind was and I can't tell you if it worked or not, but this is the story. A lady got in touch on a Tuesday, and she'd got a big show at the Guildhall in Grantham on the Saturday, and the break-even number of tickets to be sold was 95, and on the Tuesday they'd sold 27. And she said, do you think you can help me try and raise the profile of this event somehow? I said, well, we won't know unless we have a go, so let's have a go at it. So we went down to the sort of the last rehearsal, which I think was on the Wednesday evening, and we just recorded a short amount live of their sort of rehearsal. It was really good. It was like a singing opera choir type of thing, but they were doing modern hits. Sort of a little bit of sneak preview on that, and she invited me to the thing on the Saturday night as a thank you, and the place was packed. So there was 130 tickets sold. Whether we had anything to do with that in the end, I don't know. But if we hadn't done it, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, wow.
It's a difficult metric to calculate. We did one on Saturday. So on Saturday, sometimes content doesn't have to be like well thought out. It can just be spontaneous. So on Saturday, I had the kids for the weekend because my wife went off to Rhodes, lucky girl, and I had the kids for the weekend. It's Saturday, I'm thinking, well, work's done in the morning. I'd found out there was this sort of guy down the road, about 7 miles out of town. He was doing a charity event on Saturday afternoon because his garden is about 10 acres, and around the perimeter of his garden, he's got a train track and trains, which you can sit on and ride around and everything else. But he was doing an open day for local good causes. And I just went down there. We put the kids on the train. We were down there for about 1 o'clock, so quite early. And I just put it on. I did just a quick Facebook Live video, just basically talking about it, where it was located. It's £10 a car. Google Maps, Ropsley Heath Light Railway, for example. And that video's had 6,000 plays. It took me like 90 seconds to do. But it doesn't have to be really polished, I don't think. You just have to do it. You just have to do it.
Yeah, good. Conscious of time, does anyone have any questions in the audience? We haven't opened up any questions to the audience yet, so if anyone does have any questions, then we can throw you a microphone. I've got a sponge microphone here. Go on, there must be someone with a question. Who was the question? Here we go. Ready?
Oh God, this is good. It is sponge.
Yes. I hope it's sponge. That's what they told me anyway. That's what I paid for.
Sam, I follow your content. I think you're great and really down to earth.
Thank you.
With yourself, do you put a lot of thought into your content? Because sometimes it looks pretty structured.
So I have a social media guy that helps me put up, shall we say, all the stuff on like Canva. I haven't got a clue how to do stuff like that. It works really well because he used to work with me as an estate agent and I actually trained him. So a lot of the content that he would do for me is like coming from me, if that makes sense. But there's a lot of stuff then that comes from me, especially if it's stuff to do with my children, or I don't know if you follow my stories. I tend to find that I can be more me behind the camera on the stories, and I think we could all openly say that the spontaneous ones are probably the best, in my personal opinion. Believe it or not, ones about personal life or something non-property related, I get more interaction on than just a property going live. I really do.
Are you happy with people seeing your family life? I mean, how do you because that can be uncomfortable for some people.
Yeah, I think it's a really hard one because you've got to think who your audience is, and the area that I cover is very family orientated. So it tends to be that if I'm showing people my family, they'll understand me and where I'm coming from, and it can be a rant, not necessarily about property, Linda, but it could be a rant about your husband, it could be a rant about the kids. I had a rant about my husband on a story, and the interaction I got from the women, no sexist comments from men, I promise you. But I'm known for being like the estate agent where all the women that are going through divorces come to me. No, I kid you not. And I've got to be really careful because I can't put that out on social media because that does really look sexist. But I think I'm like the estate agent in the playground where they're like, right, just go to Sam. She'll look after you. And it's then back to, it's not about a property transaction, isn't it? Behind every door is a different reason why somebody is moving. Whether it's somebody's passed away, whether it's an exciting venture, whether it's a divorce, whether it's just bad memories. And I like to think that I capture that on my socials, which shows me as a real person, which brings in the leads. But yeah, spontaneous stuff is the best.
Good.
In my opinion, the content, it is about you. Let's face it, all estate agency brands, pretty much, aside from a different colour and a different font, are the same, aren't they? When you look at them, really. The difference in this eXp world, and we're all sitting in this room, it is about the individual. And I think for me, opening the doors for yourself as an individual, I get what you're saying about the family. I'm a family man in town, so I want to sell family houses for those who are upsizing and those who are sort of downsizing. For me, I think you've got to just show yourself as being the face. You are the person behind the business. And I think you've got to be front and centre of it all, haven't you? And that includes your family to a degree. But everything we're doing is for the greater good of them as well.
Yeah.
Touching on that, my middle child is a little bugger. And I say to him when he's out and about, please, for God's sake, just be good when you're out and about. Because he's just started being allowed to go out by himself for a few hours at the park. And I'm like, just be good, please, because people know me. Yeah, so that's what I have to be very careful with.
That is one to watch out for, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is there like a minimum amount of times you try to be on content in a week?
So I have scheduled posts. I have 3 to 5 scheduled ones. It can all vary depending on what's going on in my personal life. So my scheduled ones means that there's always some content going up. And if it is that I've got a spare couple of hours in the evening and I'm not going live on a house and the kids are in bed, then I might bombard it with 3 or 4 personal stuff. And that could be from a picture I've took in the week of the kids or a business opening. One's just opened recently and did a post on that. So, yeah, again, very sporadic. Sometimes you just got to go with what's going on in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, and sort of like what proportion of
God, I'll get quizzed here.
valuations come from your social media?
Honestly, about 80 to 90%. It's quite scary. But then the demand's there when they want their property on social media as well.
Sam, do you want to give your social media guy a quick plug?
As in his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
If
my
anyone wants
social
to.
media guy is called Chris Target. He's on socials as Social for Brokers. He mainly deals with mortgage brokers now, but he deals with the odd estate agent, with eXp as well, actually. It does work really well with us because he's become like a really, really close friend of mine. And because I trained him, he kind of knows what I would say in an appointment. He knows what I'd say in a viewing. So I am very, very lucky there. But otherwise, I don't know whether it always works having somebody in the background doing it.
Yeah. Linda, who do you
Because
use?
Linda does all of hers.
I do my own.
Do your own.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Everybody always says it's me, I'm the one with the hat, but that all started because I had really bad roots one day. But then it worked out, so everyone's like, even when I opened the door now, like, where's your hat? But like that for me has really worked, so. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Who do you use?
Yeah, I do all my own, and
Do you?
maybe it's because I'm a bit of a control freak. I
You're
don't know.
not Kirsty.
But I do think I should outsource it, but I just want it to be me. I'm very conscious that my page is my personality, and I don't want it to be too structured or too professional. Doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. It's a bit like the videos. I never shoot a video more than like 3 times max. Usually it's the first take and I post it, because I think, you know, you can overthink it. The more I shoot them, the worse it gets. So I just shoot it, think, yeah, it's crap. Yeah, I've said 100 times, I look terrible, but sod it, and just post it. And they're the most popular posts, and I've just done to not overthink it. But yeah, I do it myself. I like it that way.
What's more scary, doing a video or sitting up here?
Both.
Sitting up here.
We've got time probably for one more question. John, I don't know if anyone got a question. Do you want to chuck the mic down to... You can chuck it, and if it hits someone on the head, I won't
Can
get
you hear me
sued.
now?
Oh, there you go.
It's probably aimed at Kirsty, because your video was quite famous, and all you guys have been going for about 4 years doing personal videos. I wanted to ask, have you seen any of your competitors, especially on the high street, try to compete?
Yeah, there's one particular, just as soon as I post a review online, they post a review online. As soon as I shoot a video, they shoot a video. And it's literally word for word, but it's actually done me a favour, and I quite like it, because people, it's obvious. So it's obvious they're copying me. So that's what I get evaluations. I get, isn't it really funny that they just literally copy a word from word? So it's not doing them any favours, because they're not being original and just trying to be me. So then therefore people just want to come to me. So it's actually an advantage. So people go, do you not get really cross that they just seem to copy everything you do? And I'm like, well, no, because I don't care. And and obviously it's flattering as well if they're wanting to copy what I'm doing. So it's all good.
Good. And there was one more. We're going to have one more question, Ian. If you want to throw the mic down to famous Dobbers. Thank you, Dobbers.
Which, out of all the social media platforms out there, which platform is your favourite? And this is to all of you, and why? And which one's been the most effective for you, really?
Quick fire.
Yeah.
Linda.
Facebook for me, just because I find it the easiest to use. I'm on all of them, but I just find Facebook easier.
Facebook, because I'm old and I don't understand much of the other platforms, but I am trying. So I'm now on Insta, but I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. So mainly just Facebook, to be honest. I try and splatter bits elsewhere, particularly Google page, that sort of thing, but 99% is Facebook currently.
Facebook for me, purely for the demographic. Again, there's an age thing in there as well, but it's also where there's a community group for different areas of my town, different villages around the town, so it makes it really easy to communicate with those locations. And all you've got to do is make friends with the admin who's running that page and just sort of say, look, I'm thinking of putting some content in. Would you mind if I post this? They'll always say yes if you ask first. And that's been really, really useful. That's where most of our business has grown from. Not a single letter sent, not a single penny spent on advertising. Just use the social media platform.
If you'd have asked me a year ago, I'd have probably said Facebook, but I use Business Page, Business Suite, which links up to both. So every time I post something, it'll go Facebook and Instagram, but I do my stories on Instagram, and I had a house go viral just before Christmas, which has got up to about 1.5 million views. And since literally overnight, I went from like 2,000 followers to 8,000. Literally, I was logging on every day and it had gone mad. So now I've actually switched, and Instagram's more where I'm getting it. I've started getting like footballers following the page. When I see a blue tick, I'm like, oh my God, who's following me? A girl that plays for Blue City is literally Instagramming me, messaging. Is it DMs? Sliding in your DMs, isn't it? Is that what it's called? Yeah. I'm nearly 40 and I'm good at this. So it's actually changed for me, but I suppose Instagram took me viral on a house. So
Brilliant. Good.
Change.
Well, let's boost Sam's following a bit more. You can see all their handles down here, so take a photo of them. Thank you very much, guys, for coming along, giving us your tips and hints. It's amazing. I said it right at the start. You know, you're getting 4 essentially competing agents, because you're all independent businesses sharing all of this knowledge with 300 other independent businesses. When I first heard the words content marketing, I did wonder what it was all about, and I kind of overthought it, but literally everything is content. And I can see people taking photos. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do some content now. If you can all take a photo of us, and we're going to take a photo of you guys. You got your phones on you? Oh, I'll take a photo then. We'll do that. In fact, we'll do a little selfie, shall we? Can we try and do a selfie? Do you reckon we can try and do a selfie? And then we'll just do some content marketing. That's a terrible one. There you go. That'll do. Post out on LinkedIn, post it on your socials. You can post on your own socials for your estate agency business saying, I'm at a conference learning from others about how to be a better estate agent, or you can post on LinkedIn to try and attract more agents. So get that up there. Use the hashtags eXp Conference 2024 and setting the standard. It will really irritate our competitors out there as well, because it will just bombard LinkedIn in the next 6 minutes with loads and loads of eXp content. So thank you very much to the guys for coming along. It's lunch now. We need you back by 1:30. So I don't know where lunch is, but thank you very much. Thank you.